Riverside Weekly. We hope your time with us today is thought-provoking, spiritually challenging, and a life-changing experience. Our discussions and messages can be raw, real, and at times very uncomfortable and even controversial. We highly encourage all of our guests and listeners to take notes, leave comments, and when possible, always share what you hear. And now here are your hosts, Pastor Cello and Pastor Mia.
Welcome, everybody.
Good morning. How's
Welcome
everybody
back.
doing? It's Wednesday. Hump day. I was thinking about that this afternoon.
Why?
Or yesterday afternoon.
Why?
Because it was hump day.
Uh-huh.
Hump day.
Oh,
What
the
day
camel?
is it? Yeah.
What day is
What day is it?
What day is it?
It's hump
It's
day.
hump day. Yeah. Oh my gosh, babe, you're 50. Woo! Welcome to the 50s.
Meh, meh, meh.
That's about right. How does it feel?
No.
Yeah. No.
50 years old. I don't, this 50 years young. Well, I'm going to start telling people I'm 55.
Okay, why?
55 or 56.
They're going to say, I can't drive 55. Sorry.
I'm going to say I'm 55, 56. When they ask how old I am from now on.
Yeah.
Since I'm in the 50s, I'm going to always add another 5 years to whatever I'm at.
Why?
Because I'll always look better.
Wow,
Like,
you
"Man,
look great for 55,
55.
56.
Yeah, you look good. I'm like, I know, right? But you tell them you're 50, like, whoo, you look rough.
Yeah, you just turned 50? Wow. I got this whole, what did I tell you it was called? The Assassin's Creed going on right now. So I'm just like, ooh, thanks, sister, for hooking me up. I like it.
Cool sweater.
Yeah. So I guess everybody did Thanksgiving very well. Give thanks. I'm so glad that you gave thanks with your family. And
I can't even do it no more.
No.
I can't do it. My voice don't go high no more.
Oh, I was gonna read real bad. Were you thinking the same thing? No.
I can't do it no more. I used to do it real good. I need a little support here.
That's what I was gonna say. Did your lymph nodes drop?
Something like that. Wait, how you doing, guy? My old man voice.
Yeah, your old man voice.
Come on over here. Let me holler at you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Come give Grandpa a hug.
I told him before, he used to do this all the time, the old man voice, and I can't stand it. Can't stand it. Sounds like some old man hitting on me. I mean, you are older, so, but...
Come on, girl, give me a kiss.
Stop. Let's stop right there.
Thank y'all for joining us this morning for Riverside Weekly.
Stop it.
That's I'm gonna do a whole podcast like that. I'm 50 years old, so I'm gonna get into character real quick. Let me get an old man character. All right. What are we talking about this morning?
I can't, guys.
What are we talking about this morning?
I just want y'all to know I cannot stand this
50.
voice, and he knows it.
I'm 50 years old. I got another zero. I got a zero in front of my fives now.
I was gonna ask, now that you're 50, I was just thinking about it. It made me think about everybody else and you too. But we never really think about it as we get older. We don't think about, well, what's next for you in this next half a century of life? Because you're half a century now.
Oh, glory to God. Half a century. Ooh, that just sounds like a middle-aged man.
I cannot stand it. You already know.
I'm stuck in the Middle Ages. As my daughter said, I'm 2 whole quarters.
Yeah. Yes, she did.
Hold on to me. Nah.
Now you're old man.
Now I'm an old man.
So it just made me think about that. I don't think none of us think about what's next for us. I know we've talked about it before in the pandemic, and what do we do now in this new stage of life? But it made me think about you in this new stage of life, being in the 50s. What's next? How come we don't plan for what's next?
Man, I've survived some stuff, man. 50 years.
Yeah, you have.
Man, the Gulf War happened. Still here.
What did I say?
World Trade Center happened. Still
and you've
here.
been with me most of your life,
over
half of your life.
Over half of my life.
Oh, not over. Yeah, over half of your life.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So what's next for you? You've already written a book. You have 3 books to write, and you haven't written them yet.
Well, I got 2 done.
Okay.
Got 2 books done. Hadn't done the third.
I think you should.
But I don't know really.
Well, that's what I think. I think nobody thinks about what's next.
Seen the World Trade Centers. Been through a panic for a year.
A panty?
A panic.
A panty.
A panic.
Why's the panic?
Because everybody's in a pandemic.
What did they say, though? The panty?
The panic.
No, but Twitter's calling it the panty.
It is.
Short from pandemic, by the way, guys.
I don't know.
So older people call it the panic then?
I guess.
And the younger people call it the panty?
I don't know. Kevin Hart called it the vid.
Oh, yeah. I got the vid. I got the vid. I was like, what?
He called it the vid, and you have people call it the Rona.
Yeah. That's my Angela Johnson.
The Rona.
Rona.
I don't know. 50 years, man.
Yeah. 50 years
It's a lot
in the
to
making. You really got to be doing something.
It's a process, honestly. I don't know. Hadn't thought about it a lot.
That's why I brought it up.
I'm still promising. I'm still processing. I've got a 1970s processor, so I'm used to using floppy disk.
Which half of you don't even know what that is.
And then not the little small floppy disk,
No.
the big fat floppy disk. See, I don't even remember that. I was around before Google was a thing.
Ooh.
I was around before internet was even
You
a
were
net.
you were around before remotes were invented. Boy, get up, change that channel.
Before remotes
Go
were
to
around,
channel 7.
Before remotes were around, there was me and my brothers. I was around before VCRs,
Whoa.
DVDs.
You were around with Beta?
Before Beta.
Whoa. I don't know what was before Beta.
I've been around so long. You used to have to dial the phone.
By the way, that's a rotary phone.
It's a rotary phone. Some of y'all don't even know what a rotary phone is. How long have I been around, man? I've been around for a minute.
50 years.
50 years.
I mean, there are people older than you, so 50 isn't really that old. 50
Thank
is
you.
the new. 50 is the
new 30.
Yeah, 50 is the new 30. Honestly.
Meh, meh, meh.
So now that you're an adult, what are you going to do with your life?
Get my crap together.
And take it to the crap store?
Get to the crap store. Man, I don't know. 50 years old, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Never.
No. You're not 50. 30.
30.
30.
55
30.
is really crazy. Turning 55. 30 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hadn't thought about it a
I mean,
lot.
you've already started a church. You've already,
Excuse me.
you've been through the ringer. You've been through a panic. Sorry. You've been through the World Trade Center. You've been through
We survived
new
the stock-
presidents. You've already been through several presidents.
Survived several stock market crashes,
Yeah.
toilet paper dispenses
Yeah.
disappearings. On multiple occasions, we've had toilet paper disappear in this time. Oh my goodness, I don't even know.
And we've got a new president coming.
We got a new president. I remember when there wasn't color TV.
Hey, that's a little way back there. Now you're dating yourself.
Yeah.
You're dating yourself.
When I was growing up, I remember a little kid being, was it color? I mean, they had color TVs, but we didn't have color TVs. I remember there's still.
So you have a PhD?
Yes.
You've already been poor, hungry, and broke?
Poor, hungry, and broke. Yes.
Yeah, not a PhD, but a PHB. It's a PHB. Yeah, poor, hungry, and broke degree.
Man, I remember when you had an option of black and white TVs. You could get a black and white TV or a color TV. I'm trying to think. Microwaves that just came out.
Wow. Which they're no good for you. We found that out.
Man, I said a lot of stuff changed.
That's what I'm saying. So what's next for you? What's next? That's what I think everybody needs to know. Think about what's next for you. You know, not
good
just
question.
you. Not just you.
But just in general, what's
just
next?
in general. What's next?
Coming
for
up
you?
on the end of 2020, we're going to talk about that in 2021.
Yeah.
Don't let that year go by.
I was thinking about me. You know, I was pretty excited to turn 30. I remember I got a coffee mug, and I was like, woo, we finna do this.
All my 50 people out there, what's up?
Yeah, and then when I turned 40, I was like, yeah, woo, woo. So I'm guessing
40
when
seems like a long way off, man.
Really? It can't be
Seems
that
like
far
a
off.
way-
But so now when you
seems
turn
way
50,
off.
now when you turn 50, what am I going to be like? Yeah, sonny boy. Yeah. No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
how I feel sometimes when I get up in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, my back, my neck, my back and my neck.
I feel like sometimes when I get up in the morning, I might have to go to the hospital.
Oh, stop it.
Wake up and be like,
Babe, I can't move. I can't. Oh, I thought you were popping and locking, bro. Just kidding.
man.
So, really,
what's next?
honestly,
Like,
not
I-
just for everybody else. I want them to think about it, but for you, what's next?
I think what's next really, to be all holy. I think you need to be to really look at where you're at in your life, in your seasons. I was sharing with someone a while back that a lot of times, you know, we get in seasons of our life and we're looking at where we're at, but sometimes we can get so busy in life that we don't even realize that our seasons are changing. And then we get so busy in our life that we think that we're stuck somewhere, and we're not. It's just a season.
A season of resting.
It could be a season of resting, a season
Restoring.
of hustling, a season of hustling, a season.
Hey, that's
season
where
of
I'm
working.
at right now.
You know, I think being able to identify where you're at is important to be able to see what's next or where you want to go. Because if you don't really think about where you want to go, then you will never even get there.
Yeah.
I tell people, you know, when I do workshops and I talk to folks, I'm like, you know, you have to spend time thinking and daydreaming.
Okay, but people don't do that.
That's what I'm saying. Is like you have to stop. Like Blue's Clues, you know, like let's go to sit down in our thinking
Let's
chair.
sit down and think.
Right. So
yeah.
You have to have a thinking chair or a place where you go with no devices, no distraction, no
devices.
books, no
what is
books.
That?
Like, I mean, you maybe a notepad or something to write some stuff down, but just a place where you can just sit and literally just think. Like, just think about your day, think about what your dreams, think about goals, think about the person that made you mad, work through the process of hurts. Like, you have to have a place to think. We have become a society that we don't think. We're not allowed to think. We're not given time to think. And most of us, most people that I know and talk with, they very rarely just stop and just think. I know you catch me a lot of times. I'll be sitting there like, you sleep? And I'm like, no, just thinking, you know, and we don't train ourselves.
I'm thinking with my eyes closed.
I do. Sometimes I'll just be sitting there and I'll just be thinking, you know. I mean, if you've ever walked in my office on a Sunday morning, or if my door's open and you pass by, I'll be sitting there and some people think I'm asleep and I'm not. I'm wide awake. I'm just sitting there and I'm just meditating, thinking. Sometimes I'm praying, sometimes I'm not, but I'm thinking about the service. I'm thinking of what I want to share. But we as a society in general, we very rarely stop to think. You know, when someone says, stop and think about it, they're not used to that. People are not used to stopping and thinking. I think it's important to have a thinking chair in your house or a thinking location.
Yeah. Where's yours? Because
our house is full of everything.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
I think for me, it's in my office, in my chair. It's at the house. I can just lay in bed and just be thinking. I mean, I won't even fall asleep. I'll just lay sometimes there and just be thinking, processing the day, processing the week. But in that process of thinking is where you see where you want to go next. What do you want to what challenges await you? What challenges you're facing? What are you looking at that you're going to have to deal with? Or what journey, what excitement, what you're excited about, what you're not excited about. I mean, looking at all that stuff, but we very rarely do we stop and think. And it's crazy because if you want to get all spiritual and scriptural, that's really what the word tells us, is that we're to think about things. We're to process and think about things. The scripture tells us that we're to change the way that we think. We're not to think like the world. We're to meditate on the word, to be thinking on the word. But we don't do that all the time. We just want to plug in our earbuds, put the Bluetooth on, crank up the music, crank on the tunes, listen to the books, listen to the podcasts and all that, and we don't ever just stop and think. And I think that's a big cultural issue within the church, outside the church. And so I think, for me, I spend a lot of time thinking, and so for me, there are things that I'm thinking about that I'm not going to get into as far as other stuff, but it's just because it's so much. I can get into it and be like, well, how are you going to do that? I have no idea how I'm going to do it. I just some things that I would like to do. You mentioned the book. There's some other stuff that I want to do video-wise that I'm currently working on. But it's a lot. So to say, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this. I don't always like to say that I'm going to do this because
you don't know when it's going to happen.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, I try to walk in the will of God. Woo!
Yeah, but even walking in the will of God, God gives you the steps and all the things, but He doesn't say go yet.
Yeah,
I've learned that with the shop.
Yes, even He doesn't always say go, and then sometimes He says wait, and then sometimes He says go now.
Yeah.
But even in your going, sometimes It's just to see if you're willing to go.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's one of the things that I've learned in my little old short 50 years is that sometimes
this is your
you'll have
2 quarters?
Yeah, my
All
second,
right.
my double quarters.
Thanks.
Is that sometimes you'll see things and you'll think about things that you want to do, but they're not really meant for you to do.
Yeah.
You know, they're just thought processes and things that you may want to try to do. I know people always ask me, like, when you take a break, I take more breaks than you think I do because I try to think about when I'm taking my breaks. I try to think about when I'm going to actually put in the work, and when I'm going to recharge, and when I'm going to go all in for 3 or 4 days in a row, 5 days in a row, you know, doing 12, 16-hour days. But you can't live that way. You have to stop and think. You have to recharge. And I think really, to me, what I would suggest for folks is to really stop and think, what is next?
Yeah.
You know, like, well, what's next? Like, we're at the end of 2020. Like, we got a couple of weeks out. We're fixing to go into 2021. The crazy election's over. The crazy pandemic, we're not sure. They're trying to shoot people with vaccines. They done shut the country down 2 or 3 times, opened it up. I mean, all this junk that's happened in just the last 11, 12 months. And we're still, I was listening to a guy the other day. He's like, we still haven't stopped to think about what we're going to do. We still haven't stopped to think about what choices in life that we have to adjust. We're just kind of adjusting and going and getting lazy and lazier.
Makes me think of Wally, all those guys in the little electric cars.
Yeah, you know, so we don't want to think about it. And, you know, it's hard to think about what's next if you don't stop to think about
What's next?
Exactly. If you don't stop to think about what's next, it's hard to think about what's next.
Or what do you always say? If you don't plan, your day will plan you. That's the same. If you don't plan for the next 50 years, 20 years, 5 years,
for
you
sure.
know, whatever, it's going to plan you.
Yeah, everything. In other words, if you're not making a plan, then everybody else plans your life for you.
Yeah.
And that's probably the biggest lesson that I've learned in the last 15 years is that the first part of my life I was doing a lot of what my first 20-something years, I was doing a lot of what I wanted to do, but I was doing what other people were putting in my calendar, not necessarily what I felt like God was wanting me to do or what I should have been doing. And now I'm very intentional about what I do, when I do it, who I'm doing it with, where we're going, the direction, try to be real intentional of understanding the season that I'm in, the people that I'm helping, the season that they're in. I've just in the last 3 months, I've gotten invited to be a part of some national conferences. I've gotten be invited to some other podcasts. And I'm just like, I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. I'm 50.
What are you supposed to do at 50?
What do you do at 50?
Yeah.
You know,
I
don't like dogs, so I'm not walking dogs, you know,
Yeah.
and I don't have any pigeons to feed because I'm trying to move out of the way.
Yeah. I feel like the Incredibles. What are you waiting for? I don't know. Something amazing, I guess.
Yes, exactly. But I think as far as what's next for me, I think just moving forward and what we're already doing. I had a guy ask me one time years and years ago. He says, if you had all the money that you had, if you had all the money that you needed, if you had no health issues, all the money you needed, if all your needs were met, you didn't have any other. You didn't have anything, you didn't have need of anything, but you had all the resources, what would you do? And I sat and I thought, I'm like, what would I do if I didn't have anything else to do? And I literally said, this is my response to them to that group was, I would literally do more of what I'm doing. Yeah. And I have literally been doing that for the last 15, 16 years. Just doing more of what I enjoy doing, which is helping people. I'm not successful unless you're successful. Making disciples, man, helping people grow, get to reach the full potential that God has in them. I enjoy doing that. That's what gets me going. So if you say what's next for me, I want to do that. I want to do that for more people. I want to help more people be who God's called them to be. You know, because one thing that I've learned is that when
they want the help.
One of the things that I learned is that I'm not on this earth for myself. I'm on this earth for everybody that I have a relationship with. And so helping people understand that and to be better versions of who God's called them to be is very important to me. So
they can be a 8.0 version, 10.0 version, 11, the
upgrades.
new 12.
They
get an upgrade. Yeah. You get an upgrade when you jump to a new year.
Yeah, exactly.
So you had a new year and you're upgrading.
Right. Yeah, I went from a floppy disk to a terabyte
yeah,
to a terabyte hard drive, baby. No.
An addition.
Yeah, but I think it's I think you said it. I mean, like, if you don't stop to think about what's next, then you'll never know what's next.
Yeah. And I think that's true for everybody. So thank you for letting us know what's next. We don't know yet what's next because he didn't really share that.
I'd usually be like, bam, ta-da!
Yeah, ta-da! But he didn't
grandson-
do that,
my
so
grandson
yeah.
does it.
He didn't do that, but that's okay. We at least now we know to look for and to take some time to be quiet with no devices, nothing,
man.
and just to be ready for what's next. You know, even if it is writing it down, like my daughter says she loves writing notes. I'm like, just put it in your phone. But if you don't take the time, there's ways people learn. You listen to it, you see it, you write it down, you touch it, you feel it. There's different sensories, and if you're not, I heard somebody say this one time, if you're not with a notepad and a pen by your bed or during your prayer time, then your mind is just going to be because that's how we are programmed now, especially the new kids. You know, they're got to be what's next.
It's funny you say that because in the last 4 months, and this is probably this could be a what's next for me.
Okay.
That I'll share with you guys.
Fill us in. My hat's on my nerve.
I've literally in the last 4 months, I've been trying to get back in the habit of writing again. Like not writing.
Oh, you're getting ready for this book.
No, but I mean not writing in the sense of writing, but writing in the sense of like literally physically handwriting things down. I've gotten, so long I've just been using my iPad, using the laptop, using my phone, taking notes, putting my messages together. And so I'm trying to transition back into actual hard copy writing. Main reason is because if we lose everything, if I lose my phone or if I lose digital whatever, because it's already
when the
end times come, when the MP,
and we ain't gonna have nothing, okay?
No, what I'm just saying, because I started thinking about going back to thinking. I was thinking, this is probably about 17, 18 years ago. I'm the youth pastor, and I've got a computer, and I'm working, and I come in, and my computer's not working.
All your files.
All of my files were gone. Probably about 3 years, 4 years worth of material and graphics and all this stuff was on my hard drive.
3 or 4 years worth of material. Okay.
Just all my stuff was gone, and I was just like devastated because I was like, man. But got a new computer and just kept doing the same thing. Got a hard drive a separate hard drive where I was backing things up. But as I was thinking about that, I was thinking, man, I need to start writing, like literally writing things down. And so I guess the two of the things that I've been working on, and in the process of doing is, one, starting to write down more handwritten, like you said, with the notes. And the other thing
even though you can't read his handwriting,
even though you can't read my handwriting. There's only a few people that can read my handwriting, and y'all been with me the longest, so if you're wondering who that is. Oh, yeah, this is what he's saying. Hieroglyphics. Yeah, like, what is he saying? Ashanda, right, people's tongues. So I'm writing that, and then the other thing that I wanted to start doing in January was literally taking all my messages that I have
and get them transcribed.
Well, not even really transcribed, but get all my messages that I have digitally on my notes, on my apps, different things that I put together over the years, and I literally just want to start printing them out so I can have hard copies of them. Yeah. But that's going to be a lot because that's a lot of. I'm going to go through some ink and printers.
That's okay, but I think about it for me. I wanted to make some cookies for you that I haven't made in a long time, and I went to the OG book, that I had all my recipes in, and it was gone. And I was devastated because I was like, I don't know how to make those cookies. And it was in there. And so, just saying that we do need a backup. So, I mean, at 50-year-old, 55-year-old.
55, I'm 55.
Yeah, that you need a backup system in case your body fails. No, I'm just saying, or your mind fails on you. It's like, my grandma's going to be mad at me. Grandma, don't be mad.
Well,
but
here it comes.
I know.
Man, she said, don't be talking about it.
I know, but this was so good. She said, I'm glad that you came with me. I went with her somewhere. Shh, don't point at me. She said, I'm glad you came with me because no one's going to know where to pay this bill or do this thing. And I thought about that, and I was like, ooh, nobody knows where to pay my bills. So I started putting all the things down, and,
I ain't trying to pay your bills when you go to
Oh, yes, you is. Yes, you is, bro. I mean, that's what happens when somebody leaves this earth. You inquire their debt. Guess what?
I'm like, I don't know who she is.
Sorry, never heard of her. Anyway, so we do need a backup system. And I always used to tell the kids this all the time, being a children's pastor. I used to tell them, listen, love your Bible with everything you've got. Because once it comes down to it, you will not be allowed to have your Bible. So you better know it, and it better be the inside of you, or you might treasure that like you've never had it
Man,
before.
that escalated really fast.
I'm just
okay.
saying, hey, listen, these babies needed the truth. You can't handle the truth. I mean, I'm just saying. Anyway.
Well, we're going to go think about that.
Yeah. And I was going to say this before we leave. My sister, man, I tell you what, living with my sister, I learned so much. And I remember her telling my mom about one of her teachers, and her teacher used to say, when they would act up, this is second grade, y'all, second grade. And my sister is just as old as he is. She said she would come home and tell us that the teacher said two things. Empty wagons make a lot of racket. That means little kids be chat, and they just talk. Especially they ain't about nothing. They ain't talking about nothing. The other thing was that she'd say if you acted up in her class, you went to the thinking area. You know where the thinking area was? Underneath her desk with her stinky feet. You know how I know that? Because my sister lived in the thinking area. And
That's why she's so smart. She's been thinking a lot.
Yeah. You go to the thinking area. No! You know.
What she meant to say was the stinking area.
Yeah,
but she couldn't
yeah.
get the S out.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, get away, get to a thinking area,
Yes.
your thinking chair, and do some stinking thinking for the time. Start writing down what's next for you.
Yeah, start thinking about what's
Don't
next
wait
for
till
you.
you're 50 to come up with a plan.
Hey, I didn't wait till I was 50.
I know. I'm just kidding. But we won't talk about the green room Jesus that needs to be printed. So
yeah.
anyway, we'll just leave that out
We'll leave
there.
it there. All right.
All right. Anyway, thank you guys so much.
Man, thanks for...
If you didn't get to wish him happy birthday, you can.
Yeah, man.
At Cello Lozano. And because, he made it.
50 years old.
Mama, he made it.
We made it to 50.
Yeah. That's a dime in the bucket for anybody else. So, all
Man,
right.
thanks for subscribing. Like, subscribe, share, man. Appreciate you guys on YouTube. Where else? My mind just went blank.
Are we on iHeartRadio,
Spotify, SoundCloud,
Yeah.
iTunes, man. Appreciate you guys. YouTube, man, we're trying to get up to, now we're at 100 subscribers, so we're trying to get up to about 120, 125, so help us
You gotta
get
tell
there.
your friends, or
Use all your
go
emails.
make some new accounts.
Yeah.
Some burner accounts and make them so. All
We'll
right.
see you guys later. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Holla.
Thank you for listening to the Riverside Weekly. Download the Riverside Waco app to stay connected and follow us on all social media sites at the Riverside Waco. This podcast is made possible by the givers of Riverside Community Church. Production and engineering provided by Capital G and RTV in Waco, Texas.